Honestly, when I'm working on music a lot, I feel like I'm excited to get up in the morning, and like I feel like I have a sense of direction in life. And there's nothing else in my life that really does that for me. It's easier for me to be vulnerable in song and on stage when I have that kind of veil of using a stage name. I think like when there's a pretense of I'm going up on stage and I am myself, but like really I am playing a character. That I mean, just as far as like the paranoid thoughts that could go through your head, like if you sing a sad song, you're worried, oh, are people gonna think he's sad, or like are all these lyrics explicitly autobiographical, which like I don't think they are, even for the most authentic songwriter, you know. So I feel like that, yeah, having that the stage name, I think establishes a certain distance between myself and myself as a performer that I feel like is kind of necessary for me. Yeah, I think loads of musicians make careers out of being vulnerable. Um, and I think that, well, for me, I think the most important thing is just like whatever you do, you have to genuinely love doing it. And that applies to like pop musicians as much as singer-songwriters, as much as like experimental musicians. My philosophy is that if you really love what you're doing and you're really committed to it, then like you're gonna find an audience of people who pick up on that. And if you're a pop musician, that could be a really big audience. If you're an experimental musician, that might be a very small audience. I think the kind of music I play is somewhere in between. I feel like I was coming from more of that like psychedelia mindset where it's a lot about sound, just creating sounds and atmospheres, as opposed to the folk thing, which is all about like very personal, like having this character and like expressing this character. And so I think the folk thing, in a lot of ways, it was just that like I was just like a solo performer, and if I'm just like a guy with an acoustic guitar, then kind of by default I'm in the folk scene. Boston has a really strong underground scene. A lot of, I feel like the colleges definitely have a lot to do with that. Like you have the Berkeley bands, the NEC bands, the like liberal arts school bands, and they all kind of have their own influences and their own vibes. I did realize recently that a lot of my lyrics have the same basic theme, which is that like it's a feeling of like being kind of unsatisfied with where you are, but being optimistic that it's going to change at some point. Which I feel like that's probably something a lot of people can relate to. Like a song that I just finished writing, or I just finished a draft of it, it's like this very sincere song, but like at the same time, when I was writing it, it was like funny to me. I'm like, oh, like I'm like, it's kind of like over the top, like sad, you know, or not sad, but like, you know, it's like when you play with like strong, sad or dramatic emotions or whatever, as an artist, that's like really funny in a way, and it's really fun in a way, I think. shrouds the farewell smile. In the oven rises that which keeps you warm in your little town between the lake and trees. Town between the lake and trees. The still world awakes, you still dream, patient, serene, out of sync, till you turn around and round again, round and round, round again. All through the station square you see the people posted there who peel off the road before the hills and exit signs obscure thereof. Through your window pane you see the fences change again, while brown fields are trailing away and blue sky fills your frame in your little town between the lake and trees. Town between the lake and trees, yeah. Your little town between the lake and trees. Town between the lake and trees. I think I try to write, the idea I try to adhere to is that if you're really writing for yourself and you dig deep enough, then you arrive at something that's fairly universal. So I think I try to think about both myself and a potential audience when I write.